I'm really sorry about that. I didn't take note about the microphone. So yeah, welcome again to another episode of the Bungalow Screening Show. Um, Today Abby's not starting up with us as usual, but she'll be joining us later. So that shouldn't be a problem. So how have you all been? Have you guys really missed us? How's your day been? Yeah, most likely. Like, how have you spent your day today? Was it eventful? Was it interesting? Mm, Well, we always like to know. We always like to know how you're doing before the show starts. So, um, okay, my day was not that bad. It was not too eventful. It was okay. Uh, Today was okay. I just ran a few errands. I didn't really do much today. Just a couple of programming and all that, and I also ran a couple of errands, but nothing too major. But uh, today's topic it's okay. I think I'll just dive into today's topic because we have a limited time, to be honest. So today's topic is about abusing the system. Abusing the system. Now, when we're talking about the system, we're talking about countries where they do have child support systems to cater for children, from children undergoing co-parenting and so forth. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just doing a lot of technical things. Usually, I do it in the background when Abby is I'm sorry. I was going through real technical difficulties with my internet connection. I think I've got that resolved now. So let's see. Okay, I think somebody is on. One second. Yo, I think I need to get happy.
Hi.
Okay, Javi, you're welcome. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear you? Can you hear me?
Hello. Can you?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can.
Can
Yes.
you hear me? Yes, I can. I'm having slight technical
Oh,
difficulties here. I don't know. Something is wrong with our power station, so it's affecting the internet. I don't know. Yeah. So
fine.
so you'll be helping me from time to time. If you can't hear me, you just take over.
Oh, okay.
Do you
I'm
understand?
not.
If you can't
All
hear me
right.
from time, yeah, yeah, I'm having yeah. So I'm having internet issues. So today's topic is abusing the system, especially when it comes to the countries where there's a family support system where you have to co-parent. Because I understand that in countries where that happen, if the man is the higher earner, he does the family support. If it's the woman that is the higher earner, she does it. So either ways, now we are talking about when people abuse the system. You know, there are cases whereby I also learned recently that there are cases whereby if you don't pay family support on
Mm.
time, right, you default a couple of times, then you have to pay the government to deal with you directly, or you pay to the court or whatever. Then there are cases where we've had women saying that yes, the guy paid to the court, but the court didn't remit to them. Funny things, and we've had people under declaring their incomes, saying that. They don't have enough money. They are maybe you're earning £100, you now start lying that you're earning £60 just to avoid paying the full uh, child support. Is it percentage or ratio now? How do I classify it? But you get the general idea. People are trying to evade the system. People are trying to abuse the system. In fact, the reason why this topic came up is because of a video that came online. Let me see if I can share it right now. It's something that was very troubling. Okay, let me play it. I hope it plays.
Day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child, but I have three other kids. We have one kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing of McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids McDonald's though? Like that bogus as hell. Like you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even. I'm finna expose out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you.
What?
Because that don't look that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger. One burger. Dumb. Okay, but them your kids siblings though. Them my kids, them your kids siblings though. So he finna, my other kids finna be left out. You know I don't get my food stamps to the seven. But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out. But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings? Them are
Mm.
So I think I'll allow you as a woman to come in first. I don't know what's honestly. I don't know.
Um, I have to be very careful on how I address this. Now, people can support, but the guy the guy isn't using his discretion. However, it's not mandatory that he has to use his discretion. If she's not discussed it before, to say that please, it's not going to be fair if you're bringing this to this person. It's also okay, even if you're going to buy them water, you have to buy for everyone just so that those ones don't feel left out. It's a discussion rather than like something you're going to accuse somebody of doing, because the guy in question might not even know that he needed to do that. And if we put that into the topic of the day, I think either way, people try to manipulate each other when it comes to the child support system. The people who are receiving the child support will try as much as they can to do what they can. Hi, Bumi.
Hello, guys. I didn't know if you could see me yet.
Yeah, you can. So the people who are receiving the child support
Sorry,
would
sorry. Bookie, try logging out and logging with your mic and make sure your mic and cameras are enabled. So I'll remove you from. Okay, yeah. Okay,
all right.
continue. Sorry.
So I said the people who are receiving the child support can be as manipulative as the people who are giving it. So I'm not sure which side to actually be on this. Maybe I will hear Bumi start this, and maybe I could at some point I could wake up from the because it's very I can't, like, watching that video. Now the video we just watched, she was just doing is that, for me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I'm saying that from the way that I understand it. Maybe someone else is going to look at it and say, oh, the guy should know he should provide for all of them. Not necessarily. It's like you are having a job description and then you're following your job description and somebody's saying, oh, this is your job description, but you're supposed to use your discretion. That is a discretion thing. And so you can't blame somebody for not using their discretion, but you can blame them if they fail on their job description. So that's me talking.
What was the video about? Can someone summarize?
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll play it again. I'll play it. So, Bumi, you're going to have to relax and watch this one because I'm sure you'll be excited to see this. Just watch.
I like how you put it.
My baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child, but I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing to McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids from McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there. I bet you he don't even.
Oh my God, that is hysterical.
I'm gonna expose so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than a because that don't look for my kids. I don't look for our kids. It's just work. My kids.
Okay. Sorry. Hello, can you guys can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you all catch that?
the video kind of froze at one point, but I got the general gist.
Oh, okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was my network. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No,
Let
it's
me repeat
fine.
it
It's
one
fine.
more time.
No, I think a lot of us have watched it.
Okay, so yeah, so let's start with Bumi. What do you think?
How are
Yes.
you?
Hi. Before you start with Bumi, can you welcome the people here, please? Mr. Van.
Welcome, Ifeanyi, Bumi, Buki, Habi, and myself.
Welcome, everyone.
Okay,
Well,
so Bumi, let's hear what you have to say.
well, that was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. She's tripping a little bit. But you know, the way I grew up, it's weird. When I was growing up, I grew up with 3 of my cousins, and my older brother was so much older than me that he was never around. It was just like me and my 3 cousins. And I used to get upset because my parents wouldn't treat me special, and I just felt like I'm your actual child. You should treat me specially. Of course, I was a child, and children are selfish. And my father and my mother, they would just never do it. We wore the same clothes, we had the same food, we were treated exactly the same. So I'm saying all that to say that I come from an unusual background where I would find it difficult to buy something for one child and not the other, even if they're not mine. And it's fucking McDonald's here. I mean, we're not talking about like a 5-course meal. I don't think you should go somewhere and buy McDonald's just for your own child. Those are your child's siblings too. You have to remember that. They may not be your child. You may feel like you're not related to them, but your child is related to them. They're your child's sibling. Hold on, let me finish. But
Let her finish.
Sorry.
But I'm talking
Sorry,
here
Bumi.
now.
Sorry, Bumi.
Let her finish. Let her finish, Ron.
Okay.
I'm talking here about one-off things. If it's like all the time, then it's different. If it's like he's the only dad showing up every week for years, we can't expect him to take on the burden of the 3 other children. That's just unfair on him. So I would need more details on how regularly this kind of thing happens before I can condemn her. But honestly, just from the way she's hollering, you can tell that she's not an especially reasonable woman.
I've watched the video. I actually posted it on my Instagram. So it's not a one-off. And she says that the reason why she was doing the video was to expose him, that he does it on a regular basis. So it's not a one-off. Wow. It's something that she expects.
I don't think that she can expect him to do that all the time in perpetuity. That's just unfair. Like if he had 3 kids and one wasn't his and was leaving out one, I'd say you're being mean and unkind. But it's just one, and the rest of them, I mean, like, she has to be reasonable. He's not responsible for those children. You know, she cannot expect that on an ongoing basis, in my opinion. Buki, what do you think?
Can I say something now? Okay, so before Buki comes on, Bumi, let's bring it back to context. We are talking about the United States of A, not Africa, not Lagos, not Ibadan, not uh, our
You're breaking up.
extended family. This is
Children are still
USA.
children, man, everywhere. But
He had a child with her. Okay, and let's discuss it based on the US system now. Let's bring Africa system.
man, your network is really bad.
Okay,
but I don't even really understand what the system has to do with the story as such.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, children are children.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't understand what the system has to do with this story. On the one hand, I feel bad for her because she has put herself in a position where she cannot afford the kids that she has. She said several times, she mentioned food stamps a couple of times, which
which is an indicator to me that she's obviously struggling. She can't afford, which is probably part of what inspired her anger towards him. Her unreasonable anger towards him is that she doesn't have enough to take care of her kids. But for me, it's one of the saddest things that I have seen on social media for quite some time now. Really very sad, because firstly, she's a very bad advertisement for women that are single mothers. She's a very bad advertisement. And secondly, she really has no sense of awareness of herself, because she believed that in exposing this, that she's exposing the young man who is only coming across as a good father who is standing by his responsibilities. She has no awareness that she's the one that looks bad in the whole situation, and that is really troubling for me. The other thing is the entitled attitude. If he wants to do that, if he has the financial capacity to do that, then he can do that if he wants to, but he does not owe her anything. And if it was a situation that they were married, then I would say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. By marrying her, you've already agreed to take on these children as your responsibility. So therefore, you have no right differentiating between your biological child and the others. They are not married. He doesn't owe her anything. And some people have made the man to look bad and say that he's not a man. Well, that's nonsense. 4 kids, and it's not a one-off thing. He does it regularly, brings food for his child. The only place I have something to say about him is wisdom would have dictated, take your child out of the setting and go and treat your child, but you don't have any responsibility or duties to her. But very bad advertisement for any man that wants to engage with a single mother, because there are very good single mothers out there.
Well said, Buki. I agree with everything you said.
Why?
Sorry,
Sorry, Bumi, why?
Something?
Why do I agree? Because I
Wait,
agree.
sorry.
I agree with everything she said.
Something unusual just happened. We didn't notice it. Bumi just agreed with
Buki
the two
agreed on
Bumi
it.
agreed.
Me and Buki agreed.
Oh, you see, we single mothers, we
I know
get
this
a
is going to
bad
be a
rep.
bad
You
thing.
want to put us all in one box.
No.
And it shows you that a lot of us, we're thinking these are just situations we find ourselves in, and we can be objective. I agree with everything Buki said. I just wanted to be clear that, you should treat children equally as much as it's in your power to do so. But if we're talking about something that you have to do on the regular, especially, and this is where maybe Ron had a point, especially in America, where in the West, where the way we earn money, in Africa, it seems like when you're rich, you're really rich. Here, we're just rich this month. If we lose our job, we may not be rich next month. You don't know where everything is coming from. We have bills. Things are serious. You can't take on that kind of responsibility that, okay, I'm going to feed your other 3 kids every time I see my kid. For years, it's too much. It's too much of it's an unreasonable explanation in my view. I agree with Buki.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
One is there's too much in that video that if we start dealing with this, we're not dealing with the topic is actually the child support system. 2 is if you've lived in the how many of us live in the US? How many of us lived in the south of US? To be precise, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. If you've lived in the south, if you've lived in the south,
no way in hell.
If you lived in the south, if you've lived in the south. Now I've lived in the south, I've walked in the south. You realize that. So the first things you said was, "I'm finna about to expose you." About to means an accent already. I'm just about to expose you. It's almost like speaking broken English. So I kind of can figure out where that video is from.
No, we have some people all over the US.
No. Trust me. As funny as it is, that is a common knowledge. One of the first things that hit me when I got to the US was you could see a 23-year-old in the South, precisely Louisiana, She's 23. She has 5 different children from 5 men.
I'm
We are
sorry.
not
I
dealing
have to
with.
butt in. This
Hold
is
on.
not exclusive to the South.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying that we're not dealing with. Trust me, we're not dealing with just a one-off, or she just wants to be unreasonable. So we're dealing with. I don't know how to put it. We're dealing with lots and lots of layers on this thing. So you're
Okay.
dealing with lots and lots
You're
of. It's
trying to
not
find
just
a
the fact
diplomatic
that.
way to say that she's uneducated.
Yes, no, not just her, not just her. Even him, even his reaction to it. I'm doing for my kid. I'm not doing for any other kid. And how do I call it? It's almost like when you want to blame one side and you leave the other side, you can't do it because it's the same thing. You just can't do it because you're having fathers that it's probably going to end up in prison. I've had friends date people that tell you that my baby daddy is in prison, is coming out in 3 months, so we can only date for 3 months. Understand there's an underlying part of the culture. I've lived in a town whereby I lived across the rail. By that means I lived in the rich part. If I cross the rail, I'm a ghetto. It's simple. And you're dealing with culture of children raising children. You're dealing with people getting pregnant. There's a whole lot in that video before you even deal with the fact that he only brought food for one child or she's reacting for another child. So even at that, there is also, like you said, you unbuttoned it well. It is a bad advertisement for single mothers. There are amazing single mothers that are doing things well, but there's a part of culture from where they are that they're not even. You can't separate it from that situation happening. That's just a normal day. It just happens that she.
All right, honestly, you have to be really careful here because I've noticed the Nigerians can be very elitist and very
I
condescending towards poor
to be
African Americans, and
to
it's
be to
honestly
be
it's
honest,
unjustified.
to be honest, first thing I said was I lived there. Second thing you have to realize was
Bumi, he's got the mic. Let him finish.
I'm not being elitist about it. I have friends from there. If I have people to shock you, I've never mentioned his name here. Silo is my brother. Silo. If I'm going back to see, I'm seeing Silo probably next week. I've seen people turn around their lives. I'm not being elitist by it. I'm just being the fact that you can't separate the pain that is in that whole situation from the situation itself. It's not. I'm not even telling myself I'm better than it. No. But if you walk in
Okay,
their
can
shoes,
I tell you something? Can I tell you why I said that? It's not to accuse you of being elitist, although the average
but that's
Nigerian
what you
is
said.
an
That's what you
elitist.
just said.
That's
So
okay.
that's what you just said. Nope, nope. That's what you just said. You just
All
talked
right, I
about it.
stand by
That's
it. You're
not
being
and when I started, that was why the first thing I
all right, but you know what? You're trying to make certain points, and they're good points. You're trying to make points about culture. My disagreement with you is that African American culture is influenced by their economic reality. Do not look down on these people and think that they just don't know how to act right. They are responding to the situation that they find themselves in most of the time.
and if
Let me
you
show
realize,
you.
Bumi,
I don't remember how.
if you realize, and I will stop you because that's where you're heading to. If you realize, I didn't talk about it. I just said I can't look at this situation one wholeheartedly. I said we have to consider everything,
I think
mind
you're
you,
right
and
about
I did not say in any way they can't act right. I was very specific that we can't unburden this video. What I did was to say, let's not look at just this video. Step back and look at the whole picture. If we look at the whole picture, we'll bring in the same socioeconomic factors you're talking about. We'll bring in what's happening differently outside.
Anyway,
We step back. Let's look at the whole
Can I
picture.
just make one point and then I'm gonna let Ifeanyi finish what he's trying to say. In the US, right, where we have really good alimony and child support laws, Black women regularly do not take their men to court because they know that if they're in the system and they miss child support, they're going straight to jail. Whereas affluent women and white women, we are taking that money. We are taking you to court. We are making sure that shit is on paper. So I'm not accusing you of anything, Ifeanyi, but there's a tendency as Africans to look at these people and try to want to look down on them and judge them in this way and that way. But honestly, most of them are just reacting to their own economic reality and to their own situation. And in their own way, they show love to their men because I cannot tell you how many African American women I know that I'm like, nigga, bitch, take this man to court. But because they understand just how evil American justice system can be to Black men, they won't. They instead of be fighting with them, they'll be doing videos, they'll be doing everything else but take these guys to court. Are you aware of that? I'm just saying.
And like I said, I'm not arguing with what you're saying, but it's to one, like I said, I take objection. It's not elitist. It's about, hey, if we look at it, you step into it and you realize, oh, God damn it, this is solve this problem is not just to say, hey, she's how she felt, this is how he felt. In fact, from that video, I'm almost moved to tears because I've seen people on both sides. Like I know people on both sides. I know people that guy could have just been coming off that guy could have been coming off work. He could have been coming off work, and all he did was just the same tips he had was what he used to buy that food. That guy, the lady on her own too. I'm having 4 kids shouting in the back of my house. I told them food was coming. I really told them today that food was coming. And
yeah, she shouldn't have done that though.
Food. So if we're putting those two together, we have to realize there's a whole bigger picture. So just that small snippet for me doesn't also paint that picture. And this is just taking me back to, trust me, places that I didn't think I'll probably go back to.
Can I just say
the interesting thing about it, especially what you said, was I could say that when I first got to where I went to, I was, let's put it in quotes, I was African. When I left, I was Black. I don't know if I'm just using 2 euphemisms to explain.
No, I get it.
When I got there, I was African.
I get it.
I was Black. Do you understand?
I get it.
And I've seen
people
turn around their life from this same thing. And I'm seeing that there's a whole lot more. If we're going to unpack that video, we're probably going to end up in plus community, plus a lot of things. You end up in so many things that you will probably not realize what it is. So I'm just saying, if I'm looking at it, I can't judge that whole video. Judging it like
sorry,
a backward.
can I say I'm not sure that it needs to be complicated to that degree. We understand that, you know, the economic condition that they are in is not the best one. And I feel that sometimes as Black people, we always try to find external factors to justify bad behavior. Yes, things are difficult for a lot of people, but there's a lot of women in her position that would not have reacted that way or had those expectations. Yeah, sometimes I feel that we do try to find something to explain the things that we can't deal with. Her behavior was bad, period. Whether she had money or she didn't have money, that wasn't the best way to deal with the situation. And her expectation in the first place was entirely unreasonable. Now, I'm sure that is her standard attitude towards that man. And I think that had she addressed things differently, had she been a more pleasant person to him, there's nobody in their right mind that would not want to buy something for the other kids. No decent person would not want to buy. But I feel that that's not the first time that he's had that interaction with her. She's even said it. That's why she's videoing it. There's a way you can deal with people to get their good nature towards you. And she just had a bad attitude, period. Bad attitude. And I have questions about, with 4 children, or at least 3, she would be getting support from the welfare system. What is she doing with that money? Certainly enough to feed them. What is she doing with that money?
No. Are you kidding? No.
Like I said, it's always very interesting. Buki, how do you talk? Beautiful. You address the particular situation, but you realize by just stepping one side to say, okay, she should be getting enough money, you all of a sudden blow it open.
Not so much getting enough money, but enough money to eat. Enough money to eat. I've been on welfare.
3 children.
Hold on. I've been on welfare myself. I know what it is to struggle, and I know what was required to plan what I had. It wasn't very much. Huh? I'm not saying that. Sorry,
were you welfare in the US? Because the US they're not that generous. It's not like
Europe. Not the same. That's the thing. You totally when you address her behavior. Her behavior is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? How you address the behavior was beautiful. But that's what I'm saying. Once you just step aside from the behavior, you unleash a whole wardrobe of what the hell did I do here? That's what happens. You just unleash everything. You go into things that everybody starts to tell you no, no, yes, and yes. Again, true again. The other thing you unleash is okay. Let me give you this question. I've ever walked into a place and the first thing I told the person was good morning, my name is this. And the person said, why you feeling like greeting me good morning? You try to be smart, son. And then I started wondering, okay, I said good morning. And next the person was like, Sue, why are you speaking like that? You white boy brought up. You get this we are not talking about 1980s, 2000s, we're talking about 2019. Come closer. So it's hard. It's hard. Like I agree with you totally. Her attitude was wrong. His own attitude to the whole question. Trust me, he could have also been tired. See, I can. His own is I'm going to take care of my own son, and that's the best way I know how to. I bring one burger.
Time for all of them in the beginning, and you start to realize that.
I realized
now
that
I don't go as often because I can't afford it for all of them and things like that.
And then when you ask the question, if you ask the question, are 4 of those kids, are they from one guy? The answer could also surprise you.
No, but he said, where are their baby daddies?
Okay. So that's the plural already. So
and she said she was on food stamp. She said she was on food stamp.
He asked her, where are their baby daddies? So they weren't all from one father.
And again, I had somebody mention the fact that as the guy, he could have also taken the girl, the child away from that situation. And Bumi answered the question, how? Are you going to use the same justice system to take away the child?
Exactly. Exactly. You cannot just look at this as just women behaving badly.
No,
I mean, you have a point. We can't.
No. I was referring to him just taking the child for lunch. If that was the case, if you come to bring lunch for him, why not just go and have lunch with him? Not for him to collect her.
That's not what I mean. You said
actually, can I just say something to that? Can I just, I honestly, I don't really know the video they're talking about, but I kind of get the gist.
Candice Stone.
But to your question about the lunch, first of all, it's a very complex system here if you don't have custody. You don't know what kind of arrangement there already is. You don't know if he has that, you can't just say, can him just take the child for lunch? Because who knows what kind of child custody agreement that was already settled. He might need supervised visits with somebody has to be there for him to take the child somewhere. It's a broad. These things are not black and white, and they're they can be very nuanced, and it's not just sometimes what we see is not the full picture. Like Ifeanyi said, there's just so much more to it. So it might not be as easy as, I can just take my kid to lunch, because most likely he just can't.
Good point, Candy. So, Buki, what I was trying to say was that while I feel like what you are trying to say is important and it's good, you're trying to take us to a place where we're not using our environment to excuse our bad behavior all the time, and that's fair. I'm sure if we scour the earth, we'll find a woman in a worse situation and she's not carrying on like that, right. But we all have different tolerance for bullshit and for pain, and this is what I wasn't trying to pick on you, but I know African Americans and I know Africans too, and we tend to completely misunderstand them, and we are incapable of relating or understanding their struggle. What we think is indulgence, bad behavior, is them just responding to the environment that they found themselves in. Like I said earlier, a lot of people don't know this, but African American women tend not to take their baby daddies to court because they know the court system will fuck them up. And educated women, we don't do that. Professional women, we don't do that. We get that money. We take them to court. We don't even have to deal with any of this bullshit. So if you're looking at this from the outside, she may look like she's being some entitled cow, but you have no idea all the ways in which she's, made concessions for these men in her life, these black men who are like a fucking
held them down
for the first time.
Exactly, Candy. They're like
Well,
Like
Bonnie,
Vanessa is enjoying
endangered
the whole
let,
species.
Bonnie and
experience.
Clyde.
There's a war against
when she
black
had the
men,
experience, when she had the experience
war
with the
against black
second
men.
child, what you see, I have a hard time with that. I have a very hard time with that. And if I'm coming off judgmental, I really don't mean to.
No, it's
I
your
do
Christian background.
I do believe that we have a brain, and this is one of the things that I don't understand about women.
But
If
okay,
you've
but Vicky,
experienced
imagine what if
difficulty,
I'm right about what
if
I just said, where she
if
has the
if you
opportunity,
hold on, if
to
you've
take
but
support and choose not.
she's experienced difficulty with one child, she's experienced difficulty with another child, she's experienced, and then she went to experience difficulty with a third one and a fourth one. At which point does she take responsibility for the situation that she is in?
Okay, girl, you shouldn't be the one saying this. It's your religion teaching these people
It's not
not to
about
use
religious.
condoms, not
It's
to have
not about
abortions.
religious.
If you
It's
find
got
them
nothing.
not,
Nobody brought religion into this. Nobody brought religion. This is about
that's
common
the number
sense,
one reason most people don't have abortions.
understanding
Wo-
the situation
Bumi,
that
does that
you're
woman
in.
sound religious to you? Sorry, did
Yeah.
the woman sound religious to you?
I have a point there. Listen, the way
No,
she's talking about
This,
Bookie,
pouring,
what Bookie
this
to
has
talk
got
Vicky,
about
nothing to do.
will
This
to
has
tell
got
talk
you
about
nothing
that
to
I
do.
wait
can
to
have an
talk about
For
abortion and
me, for
Jesus.
me,
You
for
see
me,
that?
this has got nothing to do with religion. This has got everything to do with having enough sense to keep your legs closed if you're not in a position to afford any more kids.
yeah,
Period.
but
You
hold on.
see,
To talk
sense and
about
closing
it.
your legs.
Sorry,
This
to
is
talk
where you
about
religious
it.
people get
Well,
things wrong.
then
You
nobody can
cannot
complain
bet
about their
against biology.
situation.
Sorry,
You
to, if
can't
I
No,
can
no, no.
complain.
Women are going to want to
so
have
if I can just
sex.
answer
You can't
Bookie
depend on
a bit
sense for
about
that.
it. If I can just answer Bookie a bit about it and lay a background. Is the answer to your question is how come it just continues? Is you have to understand that these things have happened so often that they become culture. So if you probably ask her or ask most of them, they'll tell you their mom too had the same thing. 4 kids out of
No,
man.
no,
Hold
no,
on, hold on, hold on.
no.
It's not something I've seen. If okay, I've seen deep a bit. Like you said, it's nothing. It has nothing to do with. It has a whole lot to do with after some time, and stable behavior becomes the norm and becomes the culture. So if I come home and say, "Hey, I'm pregnant," somebody says, "Oh wow, oh it's your turn now. Your auntie was the same way. Your mom was the same way." That's it. So after a while, you don't have the courage to actually think that for yourself. Now, given there are beautiful stories that break out of it, but trust me, it becomes so permitted that you don't. It just becomes a normal thing. You don't finish school. You're probably going to get pregnant. You're probably going to have a kid from another person, and that just happened. So again, you have to think about it. In what environment are you going to ask this person to understand what's normal and what's not normal? And like you said, for each time you also go to the justice system to get to get what you deserve on your own. You put the one guy that probably cared the shit about you back in jail. So there's so many things about this culture that we can sit down here and talk about because we didn't have that upbringing. But when you have it, you realize how hard it is to break the circle. And even the ones that
Okay,
break it,
Memoon.
how hard that is. So it's a half the time it's hard to think outside
But
that
you'd
box
be
and say after
surprised
one
that
kid,
African Americans are very conservative. It doesn't look like that when we watch music videos and we watch porn. They
no,
look
they
like
are.
they're the
They
ones
are.
out
Trust me, they
there.
are. They
They're
are.
their
Trust me, they are.
homes, but they're actually extremely conservative, very conservative. They're very religious. They're the last
Okay,
people to
let's get.
accept gayness, last people to accept abortion, last people to accept all of this stuff.
But when
Because
they
if you
did accept, they over accepted them.
condemn
Thank
it,
you,
they
Ron.
actually
Thank you,
they
Ron.
But
actually
when they did accept, they over
abortion.
accepted.
Over
No, no, no,
accepted.
everything. Whenever they accept, they over accept it.
They don't accept it. They don't accept their situation. I'm not saying that the way they live is great, but it's not as a result of a lack of morals. It's them trying to cope with the situation they're finding themselves in. You cannot accuse these people of a lack of morals because now they didn't pack church past anybody. They are very
Okay,
conservative.
It's a lack of morals. Let's just
It's
call
I'm
a
a
lack
spade
of
coming.
a
morals.
spade.
It's a
It
lack
is a
of
lack of
morals, but
morals.
let's go to Maymoon. We'll come back to the morals. Don't worry. We have the time to discuss the morals. Maymoon, you've been standing, waiting keenly, like Your
No,
brain is
no, no,
about
no.
to explode with information,
No, no,
so
not
I
at
don't
all.
know
I
what
have
you want to share
actually
with
had
us.
nothing to say.
Are two
The thing
devices
is that
together.
I did not, I've not seen the video, and I just wanted to get a feel of what was uh, the topic of so what everybody was saying. But the thing is, since we're talking about American society, and that is something I know very little about, I did not want to comment, but I do think that their society is filled with a lot of contradictions.
Hmm.
As in, I agree that with Boki that the lady should have. There's a point where honestly your sense will kick in. They know they tell blind man say they ring. Haba, haba. You nobody should tell you now. 4 kids, you are struggling. You are there. You are the only one who is feeding them, who take them to haba now. At which point will you say when will my suffer
And you see
end?
the collect.
You still they collect.
People don't know
Haba,
how
no,
life
no,
is
no,
for
no,
these
no, no,
people.
no.
That's why you're saying
No,
this.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. See, make I tell you, if I show you my children when they sleep on my side here,
You are not
even
there.
me, I know say,
You think
no,
how we grew up is how they're growing up? You people, you
babe,
have to stop this
So
even
I
conversation.
me,
stop.
You
It
don't
you,
just sounds like
understand them. You have
excuses.
no idea about their
It,
reality or
it,
their
it,
life
it,
or what
it,
they go
it's
through.
excuses. Each generation has its
Hansi,
own
Excuses.
difficulties.
It is. Tell
Hansi,
me what
please
is
Each
it
allow
that
me to
makes
generation
finish.
them
has
be
its
the
own
only people behaving like that?
difficulties. Each generation has its own difficulties. Each
That is
one.
nonsense.
This
That's
one is not more special
these
than any other
people.
ones.
These people, let me tell you, are the most oppressed people on the actual planet, even more than Palestinians. Yes,
No,
No,
they
no,
no.
have like the most powerful government on earth, a government that has half the world subligated to it. Every country bows to America, and these black people that were slaves yesterday. You think that the government does not?
My dear, you need to go to a
Memoon,
Nigerian
Memoon,
ghetto. Go and spend
I need to
time
go
in
to
a Nigerian
Okay.
ghetto.
Memoon,
Very
Memoon, stop.
different.
a
Yes.
The
Nigerian
most
what?
oppressed people
Okay,
in the world.
let
That
Memoon
is
finish.
Yeah,
different.
they
Wait,
actually are. But
let
do you
Memoon
know
finish.
how our society would look like?
Bumi, Bumi, I don't want to fight
5%
you.
of our men and put them in prison. Just take a minute to imagine
Wait, wait,
that.
wait, wait.
Take 25% of Nigerian men
Wait,
and
wait,
put them
wait.
in prison.
Wait,
Imagine what the
wait,
society would look
wait,
like.
wait. We don't want
This is why I
we
Ron,
don't
always
want the
allow her
two
to
Oyibos
finish.
say
fighting today.
a
Okay,
lot
wait,
of
wait,
people
Oh, yeah,
wait,
Tina,
wait.
the
so you
Buki and
who are you
Maimon
calling
are
Oyibo?
saying because they are actually ignorant of the facts of these people's
Oh, yeah,
Ibo
history.
Tina,
ya
so
Chana.
Oyibo then.
It's coming out though. The things that are going on
Take
now,
time, my
everybody will
friend.
see the reality of this US government. Come on, it's classes, and it's always religious people that are the first ones to look down on others, to judge them. I'm telling you, African Americans are actually quite religious. They actually have high moral standards. They're just coping with a very dire situations that Africans never understand. They come here,
Bumi,
they laugh at them, they say, "Why are you
Bumi,
being
Bumi,
lazy?" She
Bumi,
said,
Wait,
"I don't
wait.
care."
Bumi,
I'm
Bumi, I want
Hey,
Everybody
to
calm down.
hey,
wait, Bumi, Bumi, I
Horrible.
want to
ah,
Everybody.
Bumi, oh,
Horrible, and you
Bumi,
never
ah,
see
Bumi.
it.
Wait,
How, I mean, like, how dare you not even
wait,
try
wait.
to understand what another group of people is going through?
I'm coming, I'm
Bumi,
coming. Wait.
Bumi.
Wait, wait.
Bumi.
Let
The shoe
Memoon
no dey
finish.
pinch am well. Now why she go carry 4 pikin? The shoe no pinch am well enough. Let's stop with
Right
the
now,
Wait,
excuses.
you need to. That is the
wait.
only thing going on in her life in St. Louis. It's this
Mm.
illness that
Oh,
she's
God.
talking about. There's
And
nothing else
she's
going
not
on in
feeling
her
the
life.
pain. Bumi. Sorry, Ron. Sorry, Ron.
Hab-
I can't allow
Happy
that.
fast.
And most of them don't get
Happy
abortions because of
fast.
religious teaching. If they actually could manage
Happy
to cut that
fast.
off, they'll be doing
Religion has
better.
nothing to
Happy
do with it,
fast.
It
Bumi.
has everything
Where are
to do
you
with
now? When
it.
are you not the assistant?
Americans are the Americans extremely
Assistant
religious. They're extremely religious. They
Happy
consider
go. Happy fast. Go hide. Okay,
done.
time out. Time out. Time out. Let Memo finish us part. Then we'll come back.
Africans are full of shit.
Sorry,
Honestly, they
Memu.
can
Sorry,
never.
Memu.
We have blind spots. We never see ourselves the way we really are. We
I
are
think
always
Memo.
condemning, criticizing,
Ron, I'm
condescending.
not going to talk over her.
These ones
Let
are
her
grumpy.
finish.
These ones are ignorant. These ones have no more
I will not
bad.
talk. Oh.
Are we that great? Are we that great? Where is our sympathy? Where is the ability to actually understand somebody else before we start. We're
Mm,
forever seeing the log in other people's, the speck in other people's
mm.
eyes, but we can never see the log in our own. Please don't ride this wave
Oh,
of African Americans are lesser than us, have less moral standard than us. It's nothing but elitism and the worst type of snobbery. I assure you, do some research. These people are some of the most oppressed people on the planet. They are reacting
Okay.
to a political and economic change.
Uh,
And even if they're words, you should have something for these people. They come
anyway,
from Africa. Nobody behaves like this for no reason. Like, come on. We're educated.
anyway,
Bumi,
where's
can I just say something? In a way,
anyway,
Let's talk
in a
about
way,
child support in general. Leave African
Hey,
Americans out of this because I won't stop. I know how Africans have misjudged these people. I know how condescending we are, how derogatory we are to them. It is
this is what I
wrong
want to
all
say.
day.
you do
And I want
realise
to
that
lecture
we
you
are
people.
one and the same people, Bumi. You do
Huh?
realise. As
Wow.
you do
Bumi?
realise we are one and the
So
same
sorry.
people.
No, we're not.
She,
We
she
can't
totally
relate to them at
forgot.
all. We don't understand them at all. I'm
We are one and the
embarrassed
same
by how
people. They just
Africans
grew up
behave
somewhere else,
about
but they
African
are our
Americans.
people. They are no different from us. They are our people.
No, they're not. They were
They
stripped
are.
of their culture. This is what Africans don't
anyway,
understand. Africans come here after their government educated them, after their culture supported them. You're saying here, Bookie, you're saying, why don't you stop having children? Why don't you stop having children?
Can you mute Bumi?
anyway,
Do you know the kind of
Bumi,
in truth,
oh.
behind them? Do you
we are
understand
Okay,
here
so
to
move
share
on.
the you
ideas.
people have behind you, the cultural
We are
support,
here to
the years
share
and years of civilization and knowledge
It's
opinions.
and
a move
information
time.
that was stripped away from
It
Bumi,
is
these
not
people? Like, what the
a
fuck?
place where people will just
Candy, where are
talk
you?
unending.
Candy,
You
where are
should not
you?
talk unending.
Sorry,
You
I had a
should
work
give
call.
people
I had to take a work call.
space.
I'm
You see,
still
it's
working.
because you went here. That's why Bumi didn't listen to us. Now that you're here, I'm sure she'll listen to me. Okay, so Memoon, finish.
Okay, maybe.
Yes.
I'm struggling
So
to even
in
be able
truth,
to listen to my moon, honestly.
as I was saying,
Oh.
I
Mhm.
really do think that people should take responsibility for their actions and the situation in which they find themselves to a large extent. No matter how bad your society is and the government is against you, we agree. We
Do you
agree.
take
We
responsibility
sympathize, we
for what
empathize.
Muslims do? How would you
Let
feel
her
if Christians
finish.
accuse
Let
you
her
of what
Let
finish.
her
Muslims
finish.
She's
Please, let her
no,
finish.
like
Can you mute Bumi?
Candy,
of an entire race of
Candy,
people.
Mrs. Leia,
Ron,
Candy,
What? Why are you calling me?
Ron, can you
In
mute
beg
truth,
Bumi.
now? Ron, can you mute
you
Bumi?
know, the problem is I can understand where you are coming from. You look at me, you know me not, you heard one word from my mouth, you've judged me, and you are hacking and hacking and hacking. I understand.
Can I
But in
reintroduce you?
no, it's
Can I
not necessary.
reintroduce you?
No,
Okay.
it's not necessary.
She
She's
doesn't even
not
know.
going
She
to know
doesn't
me.
even know that you belong to the
She's
same.
not going to know me beyond this hijab that I'm wearing. So
No, but I
leave it
can
like that.
reintroduce you to the
No,
panelists
no,
so
no.
that
It
you
doesn't
know.
matter. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
I don't even know where you're
No,
Yeah.
not that
honestly, to be out here
she
judging.
doesn't
Yeah,
know that
you.
both of you align in more things than ever.
No, 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 no. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry about that.
Okay, she will learn. Okay, she will understand.
Anyway, the truth is that I was trying to say that we should take responsibility for the situations in which we find ourselves. Now, for that lady and her kids and her particular situation, her food stamp and stuff, I do not think that kids are created by mistake. We know when we are getting into the act. We know. Okay, some things can happen, mistakes and stuff, but it doesn't really happen 4 times. By the time you get to that level, look, you will tell yourself, babe, I fucked up. There are lots of times that even I have fucked up, but you will tell yourself that. You will admit it. I beg, let's stop babying
Why do you
adults.
think it's a
And
fuck up?
I'm sorry, what?
What makes you think it's a fuck up? This is what I was trying to tell you, that you're trying to judge people you don't understand. To some of these people, this is life, right? She's there with her 3 babies. She has no money, she has no life, nothing is happening, she can't date. Some guy comes along, she's dating him again. To her survival depends on hooking that guy, having a child for him, making him stay. You're assuming it's irresponsibility when that is, in many cases, a
It
life
is
choice.
It is
irresponsible.
irresponsibility of the
It's
highest order,
irresponsible.
It is
especially
It
for the
is
survival.
children,
It is
irresponsible.
especially for the
survival.
children that
No,
she's
it's
bringing
not
into a
survival.
situation,
It's
No.
irresponsible.
especially for the children that she's bringing into a situation she
Exactly.
cannot sustain. That is
That's
selfish
Exactly.
and
irresponsibility.
irresponsible.
It's
Let's
gross
call a spade a
irresponsibility.
spade.
It's not even a mild one. It's a gross irresponsibility.
Anyway, Memo,
Yeah.
are you
And I think
Okay.
that
Memo, are you done?
I am done.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say my own part. In a way,
Comedy
in a
porn.
way. But
People
can I
gather and watch these kinds of videos and pass judgment about what a low life somebody else is, and you know nothing about their life. And who are at the front of these
Nobody's
people's
calling
lives?
I'm
anybody
actually not
a
judging
job.
them.
No,
I'm not judging
Nobody.
their life.
you will hear
I'm
from
judging
me.
their
You will hear
actions.
from me. You will hear from me on this
I'm
matter.
not
Because
judging
what you
her
guys are
life.
doing,
Candy,
you're actually
All
being,
I was gonna
at least
say,
you're being
Candy, call Bumi on the phone.
You're not being like Jesus. You're not being like, you're not acting in love. You're judging someone you don't even know.
Candy, call Bumi on the phone.
We all judge all the
I'm not
time.
gonna sit around with
For
people.
me,
We judge
for me,
all the
if she,
time.
for
I
me,
don't
if
enjoy
she
We
had
judge
not
all
put
the
her
time.
business on social media, nobody would be saying anything about her life. All right?
Exactly.
If she had not put her
Exactly.
shit on social media, nobody would have anything to
I
say.
just
So let
gave you
her
a
take
reason why
responsibility
that
for
may
that as
be.
well.
No one cares about that reason. No one is interested because you're married to what you came here for, which is to feel good by looking down on someone else. That's all this is about. Come on, let's not pretend it's more than that. There's
Bumi,
nothing.
Okay,
How dare us? How
Why?
dare you sit in judgment of this woman? You know nothing about her life.
But
Reality.
Bumi is judging us right now. Why are
You
we
can
the ones
speak
being judged?
generally. You can speak
Bumi is
generally.
judging.
Or be curious. Why would a
So
woman
you
do
judge
this?
me,
Curiosity.
I
There's
judge her.
condemnation about somebody.
okay, yeah,
We
yeah,
are
yeah,
all
yeah.
judging.
Okay, thank you, class. Thank you, class.
Enjoy yourselves. Run
Well,
her down.
you see,
She's a bad
was
woman.
gonna
you,
call
you, you see,
Bumi, I was gonna
Madam Bumi,
Fire.
If you want to talk
Madam
about
Bumi,
issues,
Madam Bumi. I see you're talking to now, your guy. Why are you doing like this now?
Aren't you a judgmental
Calm
person,
down.
African
Eh,
standard?
people should enjoy yourself. Sometimes I can be a bit
Wait now. So I'm not your friend again.
of each other.
I'm not your buddy again.
Better than
Wait,
this
wait, wait,
in
wait. Bumi, I'm not your buddy again.
with this nonsense.
Wait, Bumi. So I'm not your buddy again. I'm not your buddy again.
what I was going to say is that in a way, I kind of agree with Bumi, and I'll explain. I have a case study.
Thank God, finally.
I have a case study, and the case study is the story of DMX. I remember that everyone, before he died, everyone has different opinion of him, including myself. But when he died, I was opportune to look at his like his biography and how the parents were not ready, how it was born into a family whereby the mom was very young, and then because of that, there is not really that parental guidance, and he was following some uncles about, and then they started introducing him to something, and then something, and then something. Before we know it, now we can blame him as an adult to say that, okay, oh, maybe he shouldn't have done it. But what I think Bumi is saying is that sometimes it is easy for us to do that based on, oh, they should have been doing that, they should have been responsible, they should have been, but we don't know the context to this story. We don't know the context to their story. Yes, is he responsible? Because that's the way we are looking at it from our own perspective. And I remember when Ifeanyi started, Ifeanyi was saying something that, in that community, there are ways how things are being done. So he was saying it from the perspective that we can't blame both parties, both the male or the female. If I'm right, Ifeanyi, I stand to be corrected. That you're saying that if we look at those That's the way things are being done in that community. And it is
May I?
easy for us if
Do
we
we
are,
really believe that
slightly,
women who have more children than they should have
yeah,
just being
it is easy
The,
for us
the,
to
the
be
way the way
slightly,
things are
to
being
boil
done is
it
not
down
an
to that? They're
excuse.
just irresponsible. Because I think it's a
Can I
bit more
state that
complicated than that.
I do think that we okay, let me tell you one thing I think we should stop.
okay.
There are actions and then there are mitigating factors. Let us first call out the action. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it productive? Is it retrogressive? Let us call the action out. Then we can now understand the positive. What caused it? But is the action right? If you do not do that, what she did is wrong, what happened is wrong, let's call it out. Then we can now understand what caused it, and we can now know how to prevent it and how to attack it. But if
You
we say the action, we call a bad situation good, we will never do anything about it.
do you think that if you think that,
I
do
do.
you
You
think
can.
I just want to say something. I'm not trying to bust your bubble, but Africans are very horrible to African Americans. And I'm not going to sit in a panel where we're just judging African Americans.
do you
That's why
think
I was so pissed off. But thank you for what you just said, Maimon. You are right. And I'm not saying that we can't look at this woman's actions, but there's a bunch of Africans. There's a certain way in which I can participate in this because I know that we're very ignorant of these people and their actual struggles. I'll say no more about it.
so?
Can
I'm
I?
saying that.
Can I?
Do you
Oh.
think she knows? Sorry, Candy. I'm just gonna speak this quickly. Do you think if she knows that she's wrong, do you think she will come out and bring that video out?
I'm saying that she did that. We are talking about it. We who know better, we should call her out on it. And we should say this thing is wrong. If you have people around you, if she had people around her who told her that that action was wrong, probably that video would not have gone out to the net. But because she has people around her who are understanding her situation and understanding her bad behavior, they facilitated and spurred her and which spurred her to put it on the net.
Yes,
I'm saying that let's call a spade a
because they were
spade.
taken from the shores of Africa and separated from their culture and civilization. How are we going to be the same people now judging this shit? Like, come on, Africans just have to fucking
Auntie, I know the history.
If I am Candy,
I really do.
There she goes.
But the history is not going to pay our bills. The history is not. Yes, I do know the history.
Being right,
but honestly,
anything either.
Can I say? Can I respond?
Calling me names is not going
Please,
to achieve
Candy,
anything either.
because I feel like the bad guy now again.
Can I say something? Can I respond to all of this? I think May Moon, I think you're making this seem very simplistic, and it really isn't. You say you know the history, and you just dismiss it. That
I don't
history
dismiss
matters.
it.
Well, you sounded very dismissive just now. That history, it's having far-reaching consequences even today. You can't just say, "Oh, we know the history." Yes, we know the history, but you're not living with the consequences of that history. So it's easy for us as Africans to dismiss it. And I don't think you keep saying, "Oh, we should say what the action is wrong." I don't think anybody here sitting on this panel actually thinks the action is right. We know the action is wrong, but we can't just sit here and just say, "Oh, the first child, the second child, the third child." It's very, like I said, it's very I don't know. It's just a very simplistic view of looking at things. It's a very, very simplistic view. It's a very unempathetic way of looking at things. There's so, like Bumi said, sometimes survival. These people are, I mean, you guys don't even understand. I would call myself relatively affluent, but I still experience the impacts of what these people being brought from Africa and the institutional racism that they've had to deal with. I experience it, and can you even imagine what the average African American experience on a daily basis? I was
okay.
NPR the other day.
Let me state some part of history.
There's
well, apart from the people who were taking to America, even the country which they took people from was felt the impact, and we are still feeling the impact. Nigeria is still feeling the impact of, and in fact, the whole continent of Africa is still feeling the
For
impact of
sure.
that impact of the
Sure.
action.
For
So
sure. And
please,
if somebody came
there
and
are
said that
things.
Africans are poor because we're
Please
lazy
hold
and
on.
stupid, I'll be
Please,
fighting so hard as I'm
please
fighting
hold
for these
on.
people too, because you can't tell half a story.
Please relax. Now, I can tell you my own history and personally how I have suffered from that. But I will also tell you where I can do better or where I would have. Look, we can continue to do that. That
Do
one is
you
there.
think that's because you're a
But the
better
one that
person?
we,
Or the privilege of being raised by loving people in a loving community in a
you
society
are
with
assuming a lot
thousands
about
of
me,
years of
Bumi.
civilization. I'm asking you a
You
question. I'm
are
not assuming anything
assuming.
because you seem to think that
You
all
are
these things are in
assuming
our power.
a lot.
Not all
You
in
are
our power.
assuming.
It depends on our environment too. It depends on our circumstances. People will behave differently
We are
depending
not
on
going to
these
speak
things.
to every single person's
No, because
individual
religious
case.
people want
We
to try to
cannot know.
they want to
You are
paint this
assuming
world
a lot for
where
me.
people
Please
are
don't
evil and
stretch.
bad, and anything that is going on
Please
is
don't
their
stretch.
responsibility.
Please don't stretch. You know nothing about me. Please don't
Girl,
stretch.
I stopped talking about you ages ago. I asked you a question. I don't know anything about you. You're right. And
Yes,
right
you
now,
don't.
I'm not really trying to know it.
No, but anyway, let me respond to the question. The issues are we all have our own personal backstories. If I go to work, for instance, and I've had a bad day and my kids are days and I go and I slap somebody and somebody films it, they take it to news or they take me to court. Somebody seeing me, I'm like, Kai, this woman behaved very badly, it's very wrong. How could she have done something like this? And then I'll be like, oh no, they are supposed to check my backstory. Everybody should check my backstory. Haba.
That's
No,
not
I
what
know
we're
my
saying,
backstory is there,
though.
but I don't think that
She's mad because
it
I
should
will
come
not
into play
allow her to
every
go out with
time
her poverty
for me
porn.
to comment and somebody to say that this thing you've done is wrong. Everybody should now go and check whether I woke up on the right side of my bed.
No, but
I
that's not
beg
what they're
now.
saying, though. That's not what we're saying.
So what are you
I'm not
saying?
sure. Huh?
Because you are
I
telling me I'm looking at it, I'm having a very simplistic view of it. The woman did things, she expected things, she's overusing it's based on, as you see, I haven't seen the video, but based on what
I
you
haven't
guys
either.
said, and I kept quiet and I observed, I listened. Based on your comments, is what that is what I'm responding to. I didn't see the video. I listened to you. I don't know anything about American society, but based on what you guys have said, Haba, I still do not think the woman should be excused or anybody should be excused. You behave badly, you behave badly. So I'm done.
Well, like I
If
said, I don't
I
think anybody's I haven't seen the video either. I've just pretty much gotten the gist from watching this, and I don't really think anybody's saying what she did. In fact, when I
I
got on, they were talking about how they understood where the man was coming from and talking about the way the woman
like
behaved. And
I
I
said,
agree that her
my
behavior
reaction.
is not right. But I'm saying things that, like I said, we can't. But my issue is where you're going. I don't. You know what? It doesn't really matter. I just don't think it's easy for us to say why is she doing what she did, or there are consequences for actions. Yeah, there are consequences for actions, but also there are reason where people are continue. There's a reason why this cycle continues, and that's not what people are not trying to understand. All you see is this simplistic view. Oh, there are consequences for actions. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? There's this vicious cycle that continues from one generation to the other, one generation, and there are things, there are factors
so
that
what's
are
the
that
solution?
influence all this
What do you
stuff,
think?
is what I'm trying to
How
express. Because to
how do
me,
you
when
think
you say someone, oh, this is how they're doing, yes, we understand this
A girl
person did
lost a
something
parent.
wrong, but
A girl lost
there's
a
no,
parent.
I feel like sometimes we have to have empathy for people. We have to
A
show
girl
human
lost a
empathy.
parent.
And there's
Let
no
me
empathy in
share this
any of those
story.
statements.
Let me share this story. A girl
okay,
lost a
let
parent.
me
A girl lost a parent, And as a result of losing her parents, she started misbehaving, acting out, just like a teenager. And because of that, she's always looking for guys to get attached to. And then she had the first child, then she had the second child, then she had the third child. I'm talking of somebody that I know. And then at the end of the day, just like we are saying now, I can look at her situation and then blame her. I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to bring out a scenario there. I can look at a situation and say, though, this girl is irresponsible. You have the first child, you have the second child for different father, you have the third child for different father. Why did you do this? But there's a background story that we don't know, that this child is actually suffering from something, which means that until we have a clue about our situation, we can't really say that what she has done is wrong. Now, in the real context of it, what she has done doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? But she's suffering from attachment. She's suffering from having somebody. And unfortunately for her, she kept attracting the wrong set of people.
Okay. You see, can I respond to that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I will still say that she did not act in her best interest. Because in all honesty, sorry.
When people are doing that, they don't know what is their best interest. They are acting based on the environment or the things that they grew up with, which has not been addressed.
Exactly.
Okay. I totally understand what you are saying.
Okay,
I totally get it.
Can I say something to what Habifat just said? One line sentence. Culture is defined by the worst behaviors tolerated. Over time, if I have stayed in a place where my great-grandmother had a baby out of wedlock, my grandmother had a baby out of wedlock, my grandmother had a baby out of wedlock.
That's all they know.
You think that I'm not going to have a baby out of wedlock? What are my chances of knowing that that's wrong?
Okay, so what do you expect of me? Am I supposed to now say sorry?
No, but the question is,
I do get what you are saying, and I agree with it.
I can't be outside and be telling you that that's wrong. You're irresponsible because I've not walked in that shoe. It's like the tattoo thing. If I give somebody, there was a day I walked downstairs in a house. A friend of mine walked downstairs, and the guy sitting in his living room had tattoos all around. This guy was a redneck. In fact, you probably run away from him. But the guy wakes up in the morning and tells you, I'm a missionary. And we couldn't put the body together with this thing. But he said something that changed my mind. He said, I got my first tattoo at 7 as a birthday present. My culture, they all just got tattoos. So I never really bothered whether it meant anything or not. But as I grew older, because my whole body was, I realized that people judged me because they looked at the tattoo. But it's just simple. You can't look at these people. We're not saying what she did was wrong. Everybody on this panel agrees that she could have done it better. But we're saying, before you just judge the action, look back and look at the culture and understand where this woman is standing. And understand, do you really want to say something about it?
Hold on. Let me ask you this question. I think they are two very different things. In that, a tattoo. Okay, let me paint this scenario. The guy had his first tattoo at 7. If he had that tattoo and he had cancer from it, or he had one bad skin disease or stuff, do you think he would have had all the tattoos he would have had all over his body, even though it was cultural or culturally acceptable?
Once again, you're forgetting something. You're dealing with the individual without realizing that you're dealing with something bigger. For instance, if I'm a 14-year-old boy in Chicago, at some point I'm black, I'm probably going to be gang affiliated, even if I like it or not. Do you understand?
There's the threat that you might get shot.
Yes, I think you are assuming that I'm not understanding that.
No.
I do understand that.
I understand your view.
I do want you.
No, but I understand your view of personal responsibility. But you have to realize sometimes communal influence is a lot more higher than personal responsibility. The fact that I want to go home at night might make me get the tattoo, even if it's causing cancer. Because without the tattoo, I might not even be alive tomorrow.
Exactly.
So what
Mhm,
my own personal benefit, it doesn't happen. For these people, if you walk in their shoes, see, forget that Bumi is it looks like
So
Bumi is
what?
hyping up. Bumi is understanding that if you walk in their shoes, like I said,
You
I
see
went there
differently.
African. Trust me, I went there African. I left there black. Now,
You
not
said
because
this
of
a number
anything.
of
There
times.
were so many good things I brought there. There's so many good things they gave me. There's so many good things that make me realize that they are like me. But there
Memo,
were
let me
Okay.
give
also
you let
What
me give you
I'm
this
trying to
example.
state.
I
Sorry,
meet a
sorry,
lot of
sorry.
white people. Hold on, just
Give me
I
one
meet a
second.
lot of white people, right? Who are disgusted by fraud. They're really disgusted by fraud. The idea that you would defraud anything, that you would keep a social security check, that you would fake anything. The thing that we do all the time, the 419, the Yahoo boys, and Nigerians, we do it all the time. We don't even think twice about it. But they think it's one of the most horriblest things you could ever do. They don't understand why we do that. And I have to explain to them that we come from a country where most of our leaders are corrupt, where things don't flow down the way that they're supposed to, where our governments don't look after us if we're in trouble. It's our families that look after us. So we have completely different values from you who grew up in the West, whether your government is always there for you. If you're having problems with your parents, you can leave and the government will take care of you. Why would you want to defraud a government like that has been there for you, that has had your back this whole time? You feel very differently about that government. And so this is the thing. We understand that you're trying to say that there should be some personal responsibility here, and you're right.
No.
But when it comes
What
to
I'm trying to say right now, I've moved beyond that.
very ignorant.
What I
very,
am
very
trying to
ignorant
say,
about them.
hold on.
And that's why we're trying to stop you guys.
By
'cause
your
when-
analogy, what I'm trying to state is that I do not
Throw the
blame the
whole
white people for
community
not
under the
watching.
bus.
They don't have to like fraud. They can comment and not like fraud. I would not think they are being elitist. They have a right to look at it and comment on it. Now something has been brought to this table, to this panel, where there are people of African descent and still live in Africa, and we are supposed to comment on it. And my comment is this: yes, am I supposed to just come to this panel and keep quiet and look at you?
No, but
I
you
should not have an opinion.
But
No,
we,
you
but we,
should.
I
And
do
you know
think
what?
so.
Your
You should
opinion
also
can be right.
understand.
You can
No,
talk about
sorry,
Africa.
please.
like
You
your
should
have to
point.
be very
also
wayward
understand
African
that I
in
cannot.
Africa. So they could be
Sorry,
four
please.
children,
Let me
four
finish this.
different men.
You
But
should
it's
also
Wait
completely
now.
understand that
different
I
with
cannot
African
live in
Americans.
America. I cannot have that part. I cannot have that experience. And I
And
am
you
going to
won't.
comment
And
on
we
it.
do. And
I
if you
do
listened, we
understand
would have
what
moved
happens in
on
America.
ages ago.
So I am going to.
Oh,
No. I am going. I'm
Bumi, you don't
addressing
have
your
the
argument.
experience now.
what?
I am
Abba.
addressing the statements that a white person is coming
One,
to
I'll
speak
say it again. I'm
against the
not going
fraud.
to help people
It is
gather
right for them to
and
speak
throw stones
against
at
the
it. I
fraud.
won't do it.
It is right. They should not even have to understand about it. Why should they?
Doesn't understand, and that's okay. Nobody understands everything. I say a lot of shit all the
Exactly.
time. People come and they correct me, and I take it
Oh,
and I move on. And I'm
okay,
talking. I'm okay.
since we're rounding up, can I speak finally? I've allowed everybody
Sorry, I
to
just
talk.
wanted to. Okay, Ron, just 1 second. Let me just say something to Maimun. Maimun, to be honest, I've enjoyed this conversation because you have a different view of opinion. That's the thing. So don't think that there is an attack on you. No, it's always good if you have a varying view of opinion on a panel.
No, actually,
It's actually
I like.
nice that way.
No, I actually like the fact that Memun is being attacked today,
Yes,
so that
no,
when they are doing their sister thing, so that when they are doing their, that those people thing.
It's actually engaging to know that okay, yes.
I'm excited that they attacked Memun
I'm
today.
sorry, Mamon. I'm probably taking out something on you that is not just your fault, but Nigerians
No,
generally
No. I can take it.
They are terrible. Ask Candy. We see them here on social media.
Better take it out on her now, because when you enter feminism matter now, they don't go feel separate now again. You better attack her now that we're enjoying the show.
Ron.
Also, is everybody done? Can I talk now?
Yeah,
Sorry,
Ron.
To give you a point on your own side, remember now what you would have got. I know I read a statement before that said culture is just influenced by bad behaviors. What you're trying to do is to say this: it is the choices each of us make that shapes the culture around us.
It is.
The problem, yes, but the problem with that is what we're trying to show you too is that these choices for these people. Some of them don't have these choices.
Are shaped by the
Yeah,
I
it is.
do understand
Yes,
the
it is a
whole
choice,
chicken and
but some of them don't have
egg
this
and
choice. So
roundabout thing
that's
that
what it
happens
is.
in
So it's just
America.
round. It's fine.
Of course.
Okay.
Ron, before you start speaking, not to be rude, I gotta leave soon because Kennedy has swimming classes, so I have to leave kind of early.
Please get him his education as quickly as possible. Please.
Her.
As
Her.
quickly as possible.
Her.
But
Kennedy's a
Ron,
girl.
Oh, sorry. Get her education as quickly as possible because we need another slaying lawyer from that family.
Oh my
Who
God.
knows what the
but
world will
you're
Swimming.
become when
rounding
she
up
Swimming.
grows
How
now,
up.
does
right?
swimming got to do with lawyer?
No, she behaves like a lawyer, so I know she's going to be a lawyer. Anyway, so everybody's done. Can I speak now? Okay.
You are all welcome to another segment of Ron Explains.
We're not gonna say
Yes. So,
What happened? What was that?
don't you wait? Sorry, don't you know the rule?
No, I don't.
Oh God,
I'm
When
Ron.
that
joking.
clip plays, nobody should
Oh
speak. I
God,
beg.
Ron.
Oh, are you serious?
Okay, sorry. I just because you made mistake.
You are all welcome to another segment of Ron Explains.
Okay, so now that you understand the rule, so back to what we're saying. I watched the video. I played the video. I've watched it many times. I picked up certain things. That woman has been on food stamps for a very long time. She mentioned it like 3 times in that video. One, two. Obviously the guy's son is not the first. I think it's about the second or third child. But here's the thing: bad behavior. Here's the thing: culture or not. You see, I understand that you can have generational issues. Like if your mom was a your grandmother was a teenage pregnant child, the daughter becomes teenage pregnant, then they pass on that culture to the third generation. But we're in 2022 where everybody's trying to break that generational curse, and get something good for yourself. But that's aside anyway, like you said, there are reasons for these funny things. But here's the thing: even if the woman, right, wanted the guy to be like a helpmate, like somebody to assist her, you don't ask for assistance in that tone. You don't ask for assistance in that character. You don't have attitude. You don't ask for assistance in many ways. The fact remains that, like Ifeanyi said, it may be that that's just the money he had and he just wanted to give his son a treat. But I would have taken my child out if the system, let's say the agreement stipulated that I could take my child out for certain number of hours, then bring him back. I don't know the arrangement, so it's American justice system. But then again, I'm trying to understand the justice system that will hand over custody to a baby mama with multiple children and multiple baby daddies when there's clearly a responsible father who can take care of his child alone. It doesn't make sense to me.
Wait,
But
you
maybe
then
that
again,
means she's not responsible. The court found
Exactly.
that as you're
Wait, you think
insulting her, that she's the better parent.
Hold on. The mom, the woman, listen, I'm not judging by assumption. The lady says, and I quote, "You do this shit all the time." That's not a once-off.
Okay,
It
wait.
clearly
Talking about the
Let me say
McDonald's,
something.
right?
You do this shit all the time. Doesn't mean it's something he's doing constantly. It doesn't. It might be the one, maybe the few times that he does do it. You cannot just make assumptions based on that statement. You do this shit all the time. Maybe he brings food twice a month, all the time. You're making it sound like, I'm sorry, like there's no system that will get.
Okay.
If the guy was a responsible father, there's no way. There's absolutely. I mean, you're saying because she has 4 children and
She
he's coming to
confirmed.
take care of one.
Sorry, Candy. She confirmed that he's a responsible father, but only
say
to
that?
his son. Yes,
She said you're a responsible
only
father.
to his son.
Okay.
That okay? You didn't watch the video. Okay, I get where you're coming from.
Nope.
The guy is always buying.
Here's the
Sorry?
thing. Here's the thing, Ron.
I've not finished now. This Ron explains. I've not explained. Finish now.
Oh, yeah.
So she clearly stated that he does it all the time, meaning that he's only selfish. No, let me not use the word selfish. He only cares about his own child from those multiple children from different fathers.
Yeah.
And
Multiple
again,
children.
here's it. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, I need to
Huh?
mute myself.
You guys don't get the rules, don't you? Now, here's the thing. I understand that the man broke off from her because I'm looking at the attitude. You want somebody to do something, a favor for you, and you're bullying him and trying to say that, okay, I'm recording it to show that you're only taking care of your child. Okay, you guys are now explaining to me that it's a Black American culture. Good. Now, here's the thing. Since I grew up, because I've never been in the US, I've always watched all these Black American movies, YouTube channels. All I see is oppression. Oh, the police don't want us to rise. Oh, they're always throwing us in jail. Oh, they don't want us to move a muscle or else they'll mess us up. So I just thought that, okay, the United States must be a really horrible place for Black people to exist because apparently the system doesn't like Black people.
Yeah,
It's not
don't really want to be
apparently.
entering right
You're
now.
I mean, the way you're saying it, the system.
Can I
Actually,
finish?
Ron, I think
Can I
it is.
finish?
Road that you have
Can I
Don't go there.
finish? Can I finish?
The system does
But
not
don't
like
go
that.
there, Sha.
Can
I
I
have
finish?
to mute my
Now,
mic to
this
tell you
is
don't go
a
there.
wrong impression, past impression, right? Now that I've had enough time to study and I've had relatives, brothers, siblings, very close relatives living in America and having a nice time there, including Bumi and Candy, I'm beginning to understand that, okay, yeah, truly, maybe there's a culture of going against the system or rebelling against the system or fighting oppression but I noticed that the culture is strictly within the Black American community and not immigrants from Africa. I noticed they have different mentality.
Yeah.
So that I can agree.
Yes. Of course, they have different mentalities. They're
It's
from
something
different realities.
Africans should be grateful for.
Hey, did I tell anybody to echo for me? I said what I said. Who asked you to echo for me? I don't need echoes. I know what I said. So now, but in all this thing, I think yes, another problem is, even though it's cultural, we should start trying to move it, because you see, we can break this cycle if we're deliberate or if we're intentional. If we have it at the back of our mind.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. Honestly, this would have been a good show if we had just said, you know what, we have to draw a line between personal responsibility and what is just inherited bullshit, which is, because I'm not saying that what Maimon and Buki were trying to say is not true, but first you have to separate both of them, and we did not do that. We just jumped into this like, sorry, the point I really want to make is, it's very easy, but it's very cruel to just pick this woman. We didn't notice her when she was 13 and like Happy Fashi's story. Maybe somebody was physically abusing her, and we didn't stop anything then. We didn't get angry. We didn't say anything about the culture then when her stepfather was probably raping her. We didn't say anything when the neighborhood boys were riding her like the number 14 bus. We didn't say anything then. We didn't say anything when the government disappointed her. We don't say anything when all this shit is going on. And then when they grow into the only kind of woman you can grow into, if this was your reality, here we come. You see these baby mamas, there's the problem. It's bigger than that. And men have to stop.
You are all welcome to another segment of Ron Explains.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Sorry.
So back to what I was saying. If we already identify that there's a problem with a culture, now let me admit that it's a culture. Let's agree that it's a culture, because they see people around them doing the same thing she's doing. But again, culture or no culture, we have to know when to present our best attitude when we need something. Now, I want to focus on this issue. I don't want to go into all the Black American dynamics. So I want to focus on what we've seen. I think, yes, if I were to be a father of one of the baby daddy... Sorry? Did you just interrupt again, Bumi?
Sorry.
Okay, so even if it's a baby daddy, now what I'm going to advocate for is that whether you are co-parenting or not, do whatever you have to do for the kid's sake. Now, how does this apply to the woman? If it means her being nice and polite, some people will say it's condescending. Some people, no, sorry. Some people will say it's that she's berated, she'll belittle herself. The important thing is do it for the kid. The guy technically has responsibility to his own child, but this does not mean that you can't convince him to take care of the other kids. And this is where I'm coming from. Well, when you're coming, stretching your hand for something, try and present a good attitude. It doesn't matter how bitter you are, how angry you are. I'm sure if she asked nicely, the guy might have considered and given, done something little differently. But from the way she acted, it's not helpful to her in the long run. And from the video, it clearly shows that this is not a child supporting where she can go to court, because this is a bit deeper than that. This is way deeper than the guy was like, ask the other people now, because at the end of the day, who is to say? Now let's look at this dynamics. What if they go to court and maybe truly the guy is fulfilling his own end of the bargain? This is what the judge said he should pay, and he's paying his thing. She loses out, but she can gain more by presenting a good attitude. That's where I'm coming from. How she got the other kids, how she got into the other situation is a topic for another day. So this is what I'm advocating for. Let us not, when we see people doing badly, whether it's their culture or not, let's try and nudge them.
Let them back in, and so does Candy.
God.
Sorry.
Okay. I don't know what to do with me, honestly.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think they want to let back on. Okay, sorry.
Wait now.
Memona and Candy were just asking to be let back on the show. I wasn't interrupted.
Oh, sorry. Let me see. Oh, I didn't even know. I thought they were out. Oh, hello, Ibuki is here.
Okay, apologies, I had an important call to attend to.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. So now in rounding up, I was saying that please, let's focus on the issue. The issue is an attitude problem. Now let's ignore the culture, the Black American culture. If she presents a nice footing, I'm sure his heart is not made of stone. The fact that he's even bringing things to his own child means that he could bear.
I think you need a different example. That's the problem. Because for me, if one person is acting like this, then you can say that's their personality. Let's talk about personal responsibility. When a whole slew of people are acting like that, then there's something else there. It's like there's a bunch of Nigerians who do fraud. Then there's more to it than just that. One person.
Okay, let me speak about Nigeria.
Are probably the worst. Go and find some Irish woman who has 15 children.
Okay, sorry, Bumi. Let me speak about Nigeria.
Responsibility, because this.
Wait, Bumi. Let me speak about Nigerians and fraud. Now, there's something you need to understand.
I just said
I live in South Africa. I'm coming. I'm going somewhere. You made excuses for the fraudsters by saying that it's because the government is shortchanging them, and that's why they have to delve into fraud, right? I live in South Africa. God, can I finish? Let me explain now. I live in South Africa. This is probably the melting point of Africa. You have everybody from Africa here. And I've had the privilege of learning about every African country. Nigeria is not even the 20th worst African country in Africa. The African countries having it really, really bad. When I say bad, extremely bad. And guess what? Their citizens have not gone off the handle. They've never done anything. I'll give you an example. Somalia is a failed state. It's not even exist. Wait, I'm coming. Somalia is a failed state. You know what a failed state is?
Yeah, compared to Nigerians. Just stop it.
Oh God, let me finish now. Wait, hold on. I'm coming. Somalia, Zimbabwe, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, Lesotho, Botswana. These countries, I'm calling countries for you. These countries are not nearly half as rich as Nigerian people. And I'm not talking about fraudsters. And I'm not talking about politicians. Okay. Yet these people have learned to live.
You're
These
going
people
the
have
wrong
learned.
direction. When
I'm
there's
coming.
an inspiration for a large group,
No, no,
that's
no,
not
he's not.
that's the
You are
He's
worst.
not
giving
going in the
excuses,
he's
Bumi.
not
You are
going in the
giving
wrong
excuses.
No,
There's
it
no
is.
excuse
There
for
isn't
fraud.
a thing as personal
Yes.
responsibility. But the place to find it is not when a whole slew of people are doing the same thing. Now you're
Whether
wording
a whole slew of people
culture
are
and then
doing the
your reason and
whether
that's
a whole slew of people are doing the same thing or not, what is wrong, and what is right is
It's
right. It
simple.
doesn't matter. Just stop making the
Why are we
excuses.
even
in the
Stop
debating
it,
church.
stop
this?
it.
In the church, not in the lab, not in science, not where we actually solve problems. We don't talk like this. We see patterns. This is what our human brain was created for, to notice patterns so that you can solve problems. So when you see a
You
pattern,
see,
like a bunch of Nigerians are always committing fraud, a lot of African
Okay.
American women are always
the
having
only
Sorry,
person, the only
can you?
person that
I
can
don't
say
understand the
and it
science.
helps you to solve the
Bumi,
problem.
I don't
It
understand how
tells you.
science.
neither
What
do
does
I,
How do
science
you,
have to do
Aileen.
with this? I don't
I
It's
understand
like
don't
the
this.
get
science.
it.
It's like this, right? You have a normal society and some people are stealing. That's a good place to go and say, why don't you take personal responsibility? As opposed to you have a group of people who are being oppressed, being kept poor, and they're stealing. When science has already told us that, well, you know what? People who would normally not steal will steal if they're too poor. Do you understand? That's the point of these kinds of things. Like this collective
Poverty is
behavior.
not an
So
excuse for bad
this
behavior.
is not the
It's
church.
not an excuse. It's not about being the church. I don't know why you keep bringing up the
I
church.
just
It's
called
not about being
Somalia
the
now.
church.
You
Religious people that
dismiss
Stop
some.
claim that
Wait,
making
that's
the
one
Bumi,
excuses.
I
going
just
like
used
this.
Stop making the
Somalia.
excuses.
I,
Stop.
I
Only
just used
religious people
Somalia.
that think they're
Stop. It's an
non-scientific going like
excuse.
this.
Bumi,
Okay,
America is
Bumi,
not
we
the
notice
America is
patterns
not
for
the
a
only place with
reason.
impoverished
We notice
people that they
patterns
don't
for a
all they
reason.
don't behave like that. It's
Why?
Bumi,
nonsense.
why don't you want to use Somalia? Why don't you want to use Somalia as an example?
Because Somalia is not Nigeria. The population of Somalia is a lot less than Nigeria, so they're less competitive, a lot less educated. It's religiously homogeneous. They're all Muslims. They're less exposed than
Sorry,
us. It will be
sorry.
unfair
Are
to
they
compare
suffering
both
or not? Bumi,
societies.
wait, Bumi, are they
They're not
suffering or not?
suffering. No.
Are they suffering or not?
Wait, you want to? You think you can trap me into you being right? Ron, listen,
I
I don't
love
want
her.
to be arrogant, but
I
if you accuse people of a lack of
forgot.
personal responsibility over something that is obviously bigger
My
than them, you're being
my
cruel. And you're also not being right. You will not come up
No,
with
mistake.
Bumi.
any
My
No,
mistake. I'm
none of
Bumi.
it.
sorry.
No, Bumi.
I forgot. I forgot.
Whether rich, whether poor, the only person that has the ability, even if you can't change your situation, the way in which you react to your situation is entirely within your control. All right. She did
No,
not need to behave in that way.
no,
Had he,
that is
and that, excuse
categorically,
me, let me finish.
actually,
And
scientifically wrong.
that
That is
is
just
her
some wishful
attitude.
thinking that
That
religious
is
people
her
have.
attitude
It is not grounded in
consistently.
science.
That
It is
is
not grounded in
clearly
science.
her
100
attitude
person will
consistently
steal.
for me.
A
If she
horny
was a
person will
nicer
have
person,
sex.
there is
A hungry
nobody in
person
the
will
right
steal.
mind
A
that
horny
would
person will
not
have
have
sex.
bought
A hungry
something for the
person will
other
steal.
kids.
A
She
horny
has
person
a
will have sex.
stinky
A hungry
attitude.
person,
That is
Bookie,
why we didn't
would
want to help.
steal. No
End
matter what
of.
your Bible says, your Bible can legislate that shit
I
from
don't know why you're bringing Bible
last
into this.
year
This is not
to
a
next
Bible
year because you
matter.
people
You
want to
obviously
put
have
things
some
on people
issues
that are not
You
regarding
their
it. You need
fault.
people.
to deal
We
with
are
that.
biological beings. We feel things. We
You
feel
need to
hunger,
deal with
pain,
your
the
prejudices
horniness,
against
and
the
it affects
Bible.
our behavior. To
Yeah.
ignore all of that
Religion in
and try to
general.
say, "Oh, your behavior is
You
so
need to
entirely
deal with your
unruly." It's
prejudices
cruel.
against
It
the
is cruel,
Bible because
Bookie.
this
This
is
is
not
why
a
people don't
Bible
like
matter.
religious people. You people are
It's
cruel.
got
If you
nothing
don't
to
want
do
to
with it
deal with
for me.
reality, you don't want to
It's
look
got
at the
nothing to do
environment,
with
you don't want
it.
to look at biology, you don't want to deal in
Bad
reality.
behavior
You
is
just want
bad
to you just want to
behavior at
burden
the end of
people
the
with
day. Whether you're on the
philosophical
moon,
books
whether
and then
you're in the
nonsense.
sea,
No,
wherever you are,
no,
bad
no. The
behavior is
environment
bad
matters,
behavior.
biology matters, lots of things matter. Our
Mm.
personal behavior is not just our choice. It is cruel of you guys to even impose that on people. Stop it.
Right.
You're wrong, Bookie.
But Bumi, honestly, I think you should take charge of your personal behavior
Mm.
at this moment. It's in
No, my
your
personal
control.
behavior is deliberate because I take great offense to what both of you are trying to do. It's what
You
religion has
can
been trying
take
to do to us for hundreds of years, and we're fed up with it. We don't care. It's the same. That's how you tell gay people that it's a personal choice. Somebody who's having an abortion, it's a personal choice. Somebody who steals, it's a personal choice. While the leaders of the churches and the leaders of
Bumi.
the mosques are helping the
You
powerful people
you
to
have
oppress
been
little people, and
speaking.
you people have the fucking unmitigated goal to come
Stop
out here
saying
and
you
it's
people.
the little people's fault.
You
I
need
did
to.
not come here to
Yeah, I'm not
represent
listening
any
to that.
community.
Sorry. I don't
I
apologize
am
for my
here as
behavior.
a
If you
person.
bring this topic up tomorrow, I'll react the exact same way
We
because
we don't we
there
don't
needs to
have to
change
agree,
in the
but
world.
there's a way to
Educate
We don't
behave.
yourself.
have
There's a
to
way
Stop
to
agree.
blaming
speak.
people for
Okay,
things that
I'm
are
back.
beyond
I'm
their
back.
power.
I'm
You
back.
don't have to agree, but this is
You
what
are all welcome to another segment of Ron Explains.
Okay, happy
People
fast.
are annoying as fuck.
Happy fast. Happy fast. So please close the show for
Please
us,
close
Jerry.
the show. Let's be going. I beg.
We've exceeded our time.
Thank you, everyone. I want to say a special thank you to Ron, to myself, to Bumi, to Ifeanyi, Moon, Sandy, who else was here? Bookie. I think there's someone on the chat. What's her name? Thank you for having us today. We'll probably continue the topic next week. So until next week, bye from all of us. Greatness. Thank you a lot of time. Thank you for joining as well. So see you all next week. Bye.
Bye,
Oh
everyone.
yeah, Boomy. Bye.